So with a camera like the FX3, you can rely on the autofocus to be able to catch the fighter at these high-speed situations, put the camera right in his face, pull it out of the way of the punches and his kicks. And I was going in and out at 120 frames. It's a beautiful dance. You play the rush back in slow motion and it just looks amazing. I've always been a very creative person. Around 2014, I realized that working at a broadcast or on a salary was hard because I was growing a small family, and I needed to take the next step in my career, which was going freelance. So I took the leap from Māori television and started my own company. And about 2 weeks later, UFC was coming to town. So they were looking for an octagon cameraman, a handheld guy. And so they called me and I got my shot with the UFC. With a lot of the fight feature stuff that we do for UFC, a lot of the time it's quite high-paced, it's quite fast, and we shoot it at 100, 120 frames. So with a camera like the FX3, you can rely on the autofocus to be able to catch the fighter at these high-speed situations, recording slow-mo, and it be crisp every time. My go-to cameras are still Sony's, and I love the way that they perform. And they always evolve the cinematic quality from the cameras that I've got, which are FX3, FX6, F55. The pictures are amazing, but also they give you versatility in terms of the small FX3. You can chuck on a gimbal, you can whack it right in the corner, and you can get amazing quality cinematic pictures out of that. The FX6 are the same. The footprint is small enough for you to run and gun, but you can also build it up and get this amazing low-light imagery. Stolen Lands is our first, I guess, feature documentary. It's a story close to my heart because it's about my grandfather. The cinematic quality of that documentary is so much so because we're looking to turn that into a feature. And for that documentary specifically, it's more of an absence of light in a lot of the shots. We shot at low light with a little bit of a kicker here or some candlelight here, and the cameras that we used and the effort that we put into shaping those scenes was just magic. I actually really love the FX3. I think the FX3 definitely punches above its weight class, and a lot of the stuff that we shot through the bush was on that and the FX6, but it allowed us to jump into a bush of flax and really get against the dirt in the wall and then have like this amazing frame that you wouldn't really be able to get with a big rig. Obviously having the low base ISO, the high base ISO, we could jump in and out of these situations where there's a lot of daylight or you're under these trees and in the shrubs and you've got to change that quickly enough to be able to grab a beautifully composed shot. These cameras, FX6, FX3, and then for our interviews, the F55, all married up perfectly. They all gave us a certain quality, a standard of quality, but then also allowed us to jump in and out of these different situations. I picked up a lot of stuff from a lot of great DOPs, soundies, directors, producers. If you are open, then people definitely see that in you and they share the knowledge. I think in 5 years' time, I'll be shooting or completed a feature film. For me, I believe that if you're not dreaming big, you're not dreaming, yeah.